Thank you for joining me for yet another unboxing video. And today we have the board game Heroes of the NAM Lock and Load Tactical System, brought to you by Lock and Load Publishing. Now, this is what I call a bookshelf game. These games are incredibly well designed, very realistic. They are not something you just submerge yourself in and jump in and it's a plug and play. You have to read the rule books, and you really have to kind of know what you're doing in these games. I know that may seem a little bit obvious, but I'm going to tell you right now, these games are challenging to play. They're very, very realistic. It's like basically you're going into war against an opponent, and you have lots of tokens and lots of markers, and you really need to know the rules and rather to play these games. And these games do take quite a bit of time for setup and take quite a bit of time to play them fully out. So let's just flip this box over here real quick. Heroes of the NAM. It's time for a tour of duty in Southeast Asia. Heroes of the NAM is a squad level game with a fast-paced, intense impulse system that drops you right into the middle of furious jungle firefights, ambushes, and all-out building-to-building assaults in battles from 1963 to 1971. From Saigon to Hue. In Heroes of the NAM, a complete game in the Lock and Load Tactical Series, forces from the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, ARVN, the United States Army and Marines, as well as their valiant Anzac allies from Australia and New Zealand, take on determined enemies from the North Vietnamese Army, NVA, and the unpredictable Viet Cong. Powerfully armed squads are at the vanguard of all action, spurred on by the daring leaders and other unique individuals such as snipers, medics, corpsmen, chaplains, advisors, and of course, heroes, whose unique skills and sudden appearance can alter the tide of any battle. Helicopters, tanks, and armored personnel carriers, APCs, also join the fight. Test your mettle. Welcome to the NAM. So here's an example of what you're going to get inside the box. Complexity. Solitaire playability. For 12 up, 1 to 2 players, and it takes 2 to 4 hours to play the game. Lots and lots of stuff included. Of course, for more information about this game, which was published in 2016 by Lock and Load Publishing, go to lnlpublishing.com for more information. Now, if you use the Lock and Load Tactical Solo deck and flowcharts, you can use that. The solitaire playability of this game goes up to 100%. To understand that and to take a look at that unboxing, I also have that included as well on the page, so you can check that out. So anyway, continuing on with this unboxing, this is the second printing of the game, and honestly, there's lots of stuff that's included in it. So let us crack this bad boy open and see what kind of goodness we have on the inside. And there are rule books and lots of stuff. So sit back, relax. This could be a long one. So right off the bat, we have a rule book. Now again, the battle generator. Let's take a look what else we have in here besides the battle generator. We have a whole bunch of stuff. So give me a second here. And we have the core rulebook. So we have a battle generator. We have the core rulebook. We have module rules and scenarios. We have some printouts here for scenarios. We've got reference cards. We've got all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to push this stuff back in. We've got player boards. We have other charts in here. So let me pull this all back here and let us start off with the core rules. Again, any type of, I like to call these your bookshelf games. Any of these bookshelf games, again, it submerges you directly into the world. It makes you feel like you're in an actual battle and you're a general on the field commanding troops. So there are a lot of rules here. You have to go through it. But again, it's not overly complex to the sense that once you have your first battle, you go through examples of play and you try it out. Of course, the first time, it takes a long time. But once you understand the system, it becomes easier and easier to work through this. Again, the games tend to be on the long side. So if you're looking for a game that lasts a half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour, this is not the game for you. Shut the video off, move on to something else. But this, like I say, these games are complex, but once you learn the rules, once you learn about all the different things that you do, from fire combat to vehicles to ordnance to vehicle infantry and indirect fire and direct fire and night combat and fortification, all this stuff. Once you have an understanding of that, the game becomes easier and easier the multiple times that you play through it. Again, these are scenario-based. These aren't really meant for one-shot games because there's a lot to learn for that one shot. I'm going to be very honest with you about it. So if you look at this, this tells you how many, just basically, pages of content of rules and so far and so for this rule book by itself, there's how many pages right off the top I'm going to just mention. So there's 73 pages of rules. So again, when you look at this, we start right off, jumping right in. You're going to show you that you have whole kinds, loads and loads and loads of tokens in this game. Loads and loads of tokens. From leaders, support, weapons, weapon teams, squads, half squads, snipers. You name it, they got a token for it in these games. Here's your introduction. Lock and Load Tacticals version 4.1 Modern Rules is the latest set of guidelines and regulations for the game system. These rules present the core rules for the game system for modules taking place from 1960 to the present. Notable changes from previous versions of the rules will be presented in blue text. Feel free to use these rules with previously published modules. Community support, if you get lost, they give you a whole bunch of websites you can visit that will help you out. Scale encounters, how to set those up. Then they're going to talk about dice and stacking. How do you stack your tokens, your hexes, your morale, support weapons. Again, in the blue are additions to the rules from the previous version. Jamming, flamethrowers, and satchel charges. Different examples they give you. Weapon teams. Event markers, outline of play, rally phase, operations phase. Moving on, different examples. Again, operations complete markers. Fire combat, leaders of influence on combat, direct fire table, shaken, casualties, wounded, hero creation. Moving on, multiple attacking units, opportunity fire, extended range, maximum target modifier, superscripted firepower, movement, assault movement, double time movement, low crawl, stealth movement, coordinated movement, laying smoke, melee combat, post melee, reinforcing a melee, zero firepower units, ambush, superscripted units, administration phase, line of sight and spotting, examples. All kinds of examples here. Buildings and hills, figuring line of sight. Give you a whole bunch of examples and give you nice color examples as well. Lots and lots of examples here, which is great. Then you have hills and slopes, difficult terrain, line of sights along hex sides, terrain characteristics, leaders, single man counters, heroes, medics and corpsmen, snipers, armor leaders, scouts, skills, national characteristics, ordnance, firing ordnance, cover arc, range to hit, penetration, non-penetrating hits, ordnance hits, angle and point of impact, special ammunition. The sides on your counters absolutely count, whether you're attacking to the front, to the sides, or from the rear. Heat effect on infantry, target acquisition, vehicles, vehicle names, movement, morale, equivalent, machine guns, firepower, rear-facing machine guns. You have machine gun firepower, armor, the hull, the turrets, vehicle-facing movement, assault movement, overruns, vehicle crews, continuous vehicle movement, passengers, passengers on top of the vehicle, passengers inside, abandoned vehicles, mounting and dismounting, close assault, small arms versus armored vehicles, small arms versus unarmored vehicles, mortars, indirect fire, onboard mortars, offboard artillery, offboard fire mission, fixed wing aircraft, cannons, MGs, bombs, helicopters, modes, movement, passengers, in combat, picking up passengers, ordnance, small arms versus helicopters, helicopter movement and fire, night combat, night rules, ordnance attacks at night, shaken at night, melee at night, spotting artillery at night, star shells, that's flares going up, fortifications, bunkers, foxholes, wire, mines, general scenario rules, example of play, basic infantry. So now from page 58 going forward, they give you example of play from basic infantry combat, rally phase, operation phase. The rally phase, operations phase, example of play, basic armored combat. So they gave you 3 pages of information about how to move your troops. Then they're going to talk about example of armor, moving tanks, different impulses for different types of tanks that you're using. Helicopter plays, different impulses that you have, the different types of troops that you can use. Then comes on here a glossary of everything that you're gonna need. Gotta keep this handy because everything in here, they have an abbreviation for basically everything. Then of course you have here different other ones that you can take a look at to purchase if you're interested in this kind of game. Again, you have all the great people who brought you this scenarios and this box set, and then you have rules reference page here. Lots and lots of icons, and more for rules reference. Best thing in the world to do is to make a photocopy of this and keep that right on your table. And here's your outline of play. Again, you have your rally phase, your operation phase, your administrative phase. Then you have your spotting, you have your melee, you have direct fire combat, you have ordnance, close assaulting vehicles, and being overrun in combat. So there you go, 70 pages of chock full of information about this game. That is your core rulebook. Then you have your battle generator, which I'm not going to read through all the way. It's going to be your community support, again, defining the battle, type of battle, who's on what side, building a map, shows you different kinds of battles, different kinds of maps that you can use, large battles, small battles. You have to decide, defining target hexes, setting up your battle boards, attacker versus defender, troop setup. Pull that out of there. That's another thing. Define deployment area, where good guys are coming in, where bad guys are coming in. Define objectives, meaning engagement, troop setup, define attacker, define defender, define artillery. Defining troop deployment, objectives, reinforcements. When did they come on the board? And then you're defining your troops. And here are just some of the tokens that you're going to have in the game. From leaders, infantry, counter for everything. Kind of infantry, support weapons. More support weapons, vehicles, off-board vehicles, weapon teams, your NVA, Viet Cong troops, miscellaneous counters, wire, mines, bunker, foxholes, bunkers, defining optional weather, clear, rain, fog. I'll see you're in Vietnam, so it's not going to be any snow. And those good people who brought you the game and more stuff that they're hawking from their games that you can also play that are in this genre. And of course, in the back again, player aid cards, battle generator. Okay, again, if you have the lock and load solo, you can play this game 100% solo by using an AEO. And here's that solo component that I did an unboxing of as well. So you can use this along with this. You cannot use this without having one of these core sets. You just can't. It doesn't work. Okay, so then we move on to here. We've got ourselves another book. Another thick book here. And this book is the Module Rules and Scenarios. We open this book up. Another tome. Again, Claymore Mines, chaplains, advisors, smoke laying capabilities, nurses, additional characters, American forces, different kinds of forces, what you need, scenario information. And then you got your scenarios in here. So you have scenario, that's called. So let's take a look at this one. It's APBAC. APBAC, South Vietnam, January 2nd, 1963. The ARVN mistakenly believed that a reinforced Viet Cong company was holed up in the small village of AP Bac, 65 kilometers southwest of Saigon. In reality, however, there was more than a battalion of Viet Cong in the vicinity of AP Bac, and they were eager for a fight with the ARVN. The ARVN attackers included a squadron of M113s and a mixed bag of regular Army and Civil Guard troops. The M113s had been effective in the past, but the Viet Cong were confident they had learned how to deal with thin-skinned vehicles and their exposed machine gunner, by Mark Walker. So here we go. Order of battle. Army of the Republic of Vietnam, the ARVN, the Viet Cong. Those are the troops you'll be using. How to set them up, the playable area, scenario length, 8 turns, and your victory conditions are here. So that's one of your scenarios. Next scenario you have is Sky Soldier. Next one is Undeniable Courage. Battle of Chin Duc Han. The Relief of Play Me. The Battle of Long Tan. Assault on Ben Suc. Sudi Chow Pha. I probably butchered that terribly. The Cavalry. Search and Destroy. The Marketplace Massacre. Hugh City, there you go. AM Grunts. You're going to use Americans. The ARVN, which is the Army of Republic of Vietnam, and the NVA, which is North Vietnamese Army. Prelude to Lang Ye. Liberation of Ba Ria. Streets of Sorrow. River of Perfume. The Village. Treadheads. Serious Firepower. Unexpected Visitors. Stay Behind. Just Another Day in Paradise. A Friend in Need. Assault on Bin Ba. Operation Matilda. Liam Sun. Beasts of the City. So you have basically 81 pages of scenarios. Again, it's going from 1960, and I think the first one, if I'm not mistaken, the first one was from, which is pretty cool. So if you're going to play the complete campaign, you're not always going to be the Americans. So from campaign 1, you see where the campaign 1 begins. I believe this is the one here. Nope, going back here a little bit. So these are the modules. So starting here, starts in January 2nd of 1963 in South Vietnam. Again, you're using the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, the ARVN, going against the Viet Cong. So this is where the conflict begins and goes all the way back to the end over here, which is 1972, April 13th, in South Vietnam. You have the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, North Vietnamese Army are going to be still fighting east of the city. And we go back just a little bit further with the Liam Son. Again, Vietnam Army. But over here, Operation Matilda, you're using the Australians versus the Viet Cong. Go back a little further. You're going to have the Americans, U.S. Army versus the Viet Cong for a friend in need. And this is 1969. So again, this is all the information that's being provided for you here in this box set. And then we have some, looks like we have some, so United States Forces explains what each of the different tokens you have here. Different characters, the infantry, leaders, the infantry again, support weapons that are used, support weapons and the counters, weapon teams, sorry. Then you have your vehicles, offboard, your artillery, your wire, you have your mines, bunker, foxholes, and your bunker on this side. There you have it. That's the U.S. military. Then over here you have another one, which is the NVA and Viet Cong forces. Breaking down, again, all of these, vehicles, weapon teams, miscellaneous, again, support weapons. Here are your leaders. You have your infantry, and you have more infantry. Okay. Then you have the Heroes of Nam, ordnance, weapons, ammo, and targets. Small arms versus infantry, small arms versus vehicles and helicopters, artillery, mortars, and aircraft. Ordnance versus armored vehicles and aircraft. Ordnance versus infantry, weapon teams. Over here it tells you what they would look like. There you go. And then you have here sequence of play. Rally phase, operations phase, administrative phase. So rally phase, it says roll 1d6 for initiative. Rally, heal eligible units, combine half squads into squads. Good order MMCs, eligible SMCs, pick up support weapons. Operation phase, alternative impulses to move, fire, or conduct other operations. Phase ends after 3 consecutive passes. Administrative phase, remove admin markers, flip or remove smoke, remove star shell markers, flip or remove FFE markers. Spotting, melee, direct fire, ordnance, close assaulting vehicles, overrun, step reductions. There you have it. That's your cheat sheet and your help guide. We also have the skill reference card. You have an ambusher, you have a lucky man, you have a bull, master sniper, multifaceted, charismatic leader, eagle eye, healer, loner, stealthy, rage, pathfinder. So let's see what pathfinder says. Leader or hero, US only. Units that accompany this SMC pay only 1 movement point instead of 2 to move through heavy jungle, light jungle, and kunai grass hexes. Multifaceted leaders. Master sniper. Again, skill reference cards. This looks like it's all for advanced leaders in the game and heroes. You have the suicide sapper. You have the gunner, the thumper, and you have veteran. Again, this is for U.S. soldiers. All right. You have something here called Kataka Tea Plantation. Battle orders. Telling you how to set up another scenario. Different scenarios here. Okay. Called the Kataka Tea Plantation scenario. So that you have that in there also. You also have this here, Heroes of the Nam turn track. So it can go up to 20 turns. Optional vehicle size. Again, all kinds of information that you need to know. Optional speed modifiers, vehicle types. Only one side for this one. We also have here the rules reference card for chaplains and advisors, Claymore mines, United States Marine Corps ONTOs, U.S. Army and Marines, ARVN, North Vietnamese Army, the Viet Cong, Anzac forces, helicopters, fixed-winged aircraft, the Icon Legend. So again, here we go again. Stacking units, initiative check, morale check, rally attempt, spotting check, laying smoke, hero creation, bailout check, stacking limit, initiative check. Oh, sorry. Yep. Stacking unit. Star shells, assault movement, extended range, low crawl, stealth movement, night combat. Then we have damage check, direct fire, melee, sniper fire, small arms versus unarmored, small arms versus armored, combined firepower, onboard mortar fire, offboard artillery, close assault. Then you have over here, you have again the Icon Legend, ordnance versus infantry, ordnance versus unarmored, ordnance versus armored, armored overrun. So again, as I said to you before, there's a lot of details that goes into this game. Huge amount of details. So again, it's not a plug and play game. At least I have not found it to be a plug and play game by any means of the word. Okay, player aid card again. Another one of these, melee table. Open this up. Terrain effects chart. Bamboo huts, brush, clear, heavy jungle, hill, kunai grass, light jungle, pool, rice paddy, road, soccer field stands, stone, heavy construction building, walls, wood and light construction buildings, images, bunker, foxhole, mines, rubble, smoke, wire, vehicle or wreck. How the movement going through them, modifiers, obstacles, heights, all this stuff is taken into consideration. So again, this is not a plug and play. You're not going to open this box up and be like, all right, 5 minutes, I'm going to learn how to play this. No. It takes time to learn the rules, learn the abbreviations. You have to go step by step. DFT die roll modifications, circumstances, firing weapons, modifications, targets, dice roll modifications, support weapons. So there's a lot of information here. Lots of information to go through. Now we have for different scenarios, you're going to use different board setups. Then we're going to go through the counters. All right, so these are just the rule books, the scenario books, information about the troops, and then you have your hex boards that you use. They're only one-sided, so this is your hex board for second scenario. So I'm going to try to see here. So that's number 2. So let's start with number 1. So again, all the terrain, again, over here, I showed you that, the terrain markers of how this all looks. Moving your troops, moving your forces through here with your enemies coming in against you from various sides. So there you go, that's number 1. Board number 2. Again, these are simple paper. There's no need to write on them. There's no need for any of that stuff. These are not wet erase, dry erase, because there's no need for it. All the action takes place on these grids that we have here. So it's map number 3. Map number 4. Another map here. I mean, they're beautifully illustrated. Again, all these are one-sided. And the last one. The thick jungles of Vietnam. There you have it. Okay, so you also get a bag for that. Now come your tokens, and there are a ton of tokens in here. Ton of tokens. So let's just take a look at some of these here. These are various different weapons, RPGs, all different kinds of things, stacking, that you would stack onto your platoon. RPG and how it's utilized. So I don't want to pull them all out, but you have all different kinds. Over here you have a flamethrower, RPGs, RPDs, the BAR, so all different kinds of weapons that you have here. RPG-2, so you have a whole bunch of those kinds of weapons. Over here, you have different kinds of MKB, M113, different types of vehicles, whether it's on the right side, which is normal, and then when it gets hit, it's shaken. So all those kinds of vehicles. Then you have troop types. Soldiers that are shaken. Squad unit strength. The numbers are all, again, all these numbers and everything else explained in the rulebook, what all those numbers mean on all these tokens. Okay. More soldiers. heroes are in there. Lieutenant Jensen's a hero. Different troops, U.S. troops. Reagan, lieutenant. So we're all on here. Again, when you're doing a scenario, it'll tell you how many of each of these you need, which ones you need, and how to stack them. It's all explained in the rules. Over here we have fired, moved, pinned, all those kinds of tokens are in here. Try to track during the battle what's happening. Different tanks, anti-tank weapons, again, how to use them. If a unit gets shaken, all kinds of markers for that. Again, it could be the ARVN, the Viet Cong, more units here, wounded, be a medical, be a doctor. Melee, assault move, low crawl, upper level, lower level. So that's the type of move you're making. Frontal attack, rear attack. I'll tell you here, again, more troop types. Crew, person's dead. We have these here. Wounded, occupied, smoked, leadership morale -1 reduces leadership range. So if a leader gets wounded, occupied, occupation, so then the area gets taken over, overrun. There you have it, wounded. There you have that. Completed your job, the ops, acquiring a target, spotted, ops completed again. There you have that. Shaken, tunnel, abandoned. We have the star shell, which is a nighttime fighting. Tunnel rat. Yep, it's all in here. Again, to me, these bookshelf games, again, that's what I call them, bookshelf games. These are the most realistic combat that you're going to get when you're playing these games. Really gives you the feel that you're a general issuing orders to your troops to move, and you're not doing one player versus one player. You're doing squad level, company level, all different kinds of level of combat that you're doing. Helicopters, machine guns, all kinds of stuff in here. Again, if they're shaken, I see one of those with the lock and load symbol on there. That means one of those out. Helicopter. And if it's destroyed or anything like that, you have one of these other tokens that you put on top of it. That's what they mean by stacking. So in other words, if you have some troops that you're picking up, but with a helicopter, you put the helicopter on top of that squad, and then when you lift off, the squad is now inside the helicopter and you're moving it. When it gets shot at, if someone gets killed or whatever, you take it out of those pieces there. If it crashes, those guys all get killed or wounded, or depending on how the dice come out. So that's how those things are. That's when we saw in the rule book when we talked about stacking, that's what that talks about. Buttoned, open. This is for the tops of tanks. Yep. Button down, meaning it's shut all the way. Open, a gunner is up top. It's identifying. Helicopters hovering. Okay. There you go. Different things that the vehicles can do. And we got some more here. Hold on, we got some more here. Okay, barbed wire. You got foxholes. You got bunkers. All kinds of things. Wire, barbed wire up, mines. So those are your special situations that you run into that block your path. Over here we got more spotting rounds, fire for effect, rubble, stealth, spotting round, strength. There we go. Claymore mines, grenade launchers, M60s, bars, Browning automatic rifle, M60. So all different kinds of heavy weapons. These are not your generic weapons that your troops have. So you put that in there, you have a guy carrying one. Then you got over here, you got more. You got Rage, you got Pathfinder, you got Charismatic. These are different kinds of leaders. Turn initiative. Yep. You have the loner. You have a chart to discuss all these characters or your leadership type qualities that they had that you put in with your character. Again, here we got more. You got a sniper there. You got different kinds of troops, different levels of troops. Again, it looks like the MVM or the RVN. There you go. There's these troops. So as you can tell, there's a lot of tokens in this game. Again, when a helicopter gets wrecked, you put it on top of it. Again, rubble, wrecks on both sides, yeah. So if a helicopter gets destroyed, a tank gets destroyed, APC gets destroyed, armored personnel carrier gets destroyed. That's what these go on to. Building gets destroyed. You got rubble. So there you have it. That is everything that is included in this unboxing of Heroes of the NAM Lock and Load Tactical System, brought to you by Lock and Load Publishing. This game deals with the battles from 1963 to 1971 from Saigon to Hue. Was released in 2016 by Lock and Load Publishing. Again, it's for ages 12 plus for 1 to 2 players. Each game takes between 2 to 4 hours to complete. Again, if you wanted to play this game and you want to play it solo, I recommend that you purchase a copy of Lock and Load Tactical Solo. It really helps you speed the process up a little bit more, and the AEO runs the if you're using the Americans, the Viet Cong would be run by the AEO. Again, but you don't need that. You could always just stay with this, but you need this core box set if you want to use the solo rules. You have to have a copy of one of the core box sets. So once again, thank you so much for joining me for this unboxing video. It's truly appreciated. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below. You can also hit that subscribe button. This way you're kept up to date as to any time we release any new content to the page. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Be safe, be well, enjoy the remainder of your day. We'll catch you on the next unboxing video.